Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Monday to you and your family. We're going to take a look here at Galaxy Project, or Project Galaxy rather, and just kind of see what's going on, best practice, big picture. And this is a fairly newer coin. I believe its ICO date was May 5th. So there's not a tremendous amount of data, but we can still extract some decent stuff from the recent time frames and kind of help understand what's going to happen next. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people to trade, I hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So, if you want to become so, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. Join over 200 active members right now, presently, and just learn and grow as a better trader. I have an academy as well as a signal group where I send out signals for every single trade that I take. We've taken some monster profits here recently from Bitcoin, Avalanche, and a few others, Unfi as well. So anyways, take a look here at Project Galaxy. What we want to do is, first of all, again, with limited data, best thing to do is kind of take recent moving averages, which we do still, actually, we have enough data here for a 20-day sub-moving average. And we're also going to look at, of course, Fibonacci retracement. I do that from basically the recent high to the recent low, giving us kind of perspective in the fact that $5 is a likely resistance level for Gala. Sorry, I want to call it Gala since it's actually Galaxy, Project Galaxy. But if you can see here, previous resistance, or previous support rather, should establish itself as a resistance. So we might see $5 be a potential barrier, as well as the fact that the 20-day SMA is working itself into that time frame. Okay, so right there, we could see some resistance. So just bear in mind, if this were to recover, it may not. It may find some challenges along the way. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. And if we look at the moving averages like the MACD and the RSI, like there's not a lot of data here to really tell us, because this is taking the last 14 days of data, and we're well below, because obviously we had that major sell-off in the first few days. The ICO date for this coin was terrible. The timing was not good. Of course, anything released in April or May would have that same effect, but generally speaking, it's maintained itself as a decent average here. If we take a look at the volume profile, we can see there's a lot of volume in the range of where the price is at, upwards of $6.50. Now keep in mind, $6.50 or $6 or $4 here, this little range here that we're in, that's really telling us that we're at the lower range of the volume. So it's not great in that sense, because if we were to lose a support level here at about 412, we could potentially see, I wouldn't say a free fall, but we'll definitely see a lot lower of a price point. There's not a lot of volume in this area. And volume just really tells us that there's interest in specific areas. And right now we can see $4 to $6 is roughly the estimate that we have the most volume accumulation. So it's within the lower range of its average true range. All right. So it's kind of just something to acknowledge. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not in good shape. It just really tells us that it's kind of just tentative for the moment, and we got to hope that it doesn't break below 412. So I'd say a close below 412 would be disadvantageous. It's not the lowest low it's hit, but it's definitely getting there. All right. Take a look at the 4 hour. We can see a nice strong correction here from Bitcoin's increase yesterday. So a lot of profits are being taken there. If we take a look at the volume, it's still low volume overall. So until volume can increase, we're going to see the price probably go sideways or down from here. If we look at the moving averages, we're stuck in between both the 20 and the 50, which isn't terrible. That's actually pretty much par for the course considering the circumstances. But getting above the 50-day SMA is something we really want to have happen on the 4 hour. Now, if we look at the RSI, we're back under 50 tentatively, so that's not a great sign, but hopefully we can get a bounce and get this candlestick closer to a doji, and then we might possibly be in good shape. There's only 30 minutes left, so it doesn't look that great, but Bitcoin retraced a little bit here recently, and that's the reason why we're seeing this also do so. It's just working a lot more aggressively because Bitcoin is not selling off this hard, whereas this one is. So you gotta understand, coins like this, they're going to be more susceptible to selling off and taking profits when Bitcoin corrects itself than others. And what I mean by that is just like newer projects, newer, smaller type of situations where there's lower volume, they're going to be more susceptible and hit harder. So just be mindful that this is not, this is not it's not in bad shape, but it's not like one of those coins where you can expect it to moon anytime soon. But I do think that it could very well have that potential. And eventually, it's proven in the past that it can definitely spike and do quite well when Bitcoin has some consistency. So we see more consistency from Bitcoin where it breaks some key level resistances. It's a strong chance we're going to see this one take off. So taking a look at the 1 hour, and we'll call it a day here, we can kind of see TD sequential telling us that we we keep getting a lot of resets. We hit 4s, 4, 6, 5. I mean, the average, this coin only has an average of about 5 hours of continuation. So with us being at a 5 right now and its history showing 5s, 6s, and 4s, I would venture to guess we're going to see a reversal soon, or a bounce essentially, because again, as long as this low here isn't lower than the previous, we should be in good shape. Okay, so I would just say if we're going to continue to go further down, like just say the price comes down the 410 to 430 range, then we're going to have some problems because we're making lower lows at that point, and that would not be helpful. If we take a look at the cloud, we are almost soon to retest the cloud. This is really just telling us that, hey, if we got a position open, you should have closed it. And honestly, you're at the point right now where it could go either way, right? So again, based on its history, it usually hits 5 hours in a row in either direction. So the likelihood of it turning around going up from here is higher, but it's still no guarantees. So again, depending on your overall position size and what kind of position you have, you'd want to possibly consider taking your profits already, and or maybe consider a long position depending on your risk tolerance. So make sure that you only work within your means and do not overextend yourself. But generally speaking, we are looking pretty decent here in one regard, but not so great in another. And what I mean by that, to summarize, is that the macro is not looking great. It's really just telling us that it wants to continue to go lower. And the micro also is kind of telling us the same thing. It's just that it's trying to bounce off this potential resistance level, or previous resistance, current support. So again, as long as we don't get a price point under $4.40, we should be in good shape. Okay, so believe it or not, it's still looking okay, even though we got some signals to tell us to maybe close our position. I wouldn't necessarily close it entirely. Maybe take some profits, and if it reverses back up, you're still in the green, right? Again, a lot of different schools of thought there, but generally speaking, this coin definitely has some potential. We're just not seeing that just yet. One last thing to kind of note, if you kind of look at this here as well, you could kind of argue that that's a descending pattern that's broken free from. But I would say it's a bit of a stretch, just based on the fact that Bitcoin is exuding similar behaviors here. It came down, and now it's trying to come back up again. All right, well, I hope that made sense to you, and that didn't add insult to injury, as they say, or confuse you further. Again, limited data, so the results are going to be a little off. That's just kind of the way that it goes. We don't have a tremendous amount of history to really kind of anticipate what's going to happen next. But with what we see here so far, on the macro more so, the larger time frames, you can see we're still establishing lower highs and lower lows. Until that trend changes, we can anticipate that to be the same. It's going to continue. All right. Again, we got this type of pattern here kind of showing us price wants to keep going down. All right, so if you see a price point under $4.12, I'd be very careful. That's all I can say. But preferably 440 or higher today. Nice little bounce off that support. We'll see what happens soon. Thanks again for joining me here. We'll go ahead and cover this again later. I greatly appreciate the requests for this coin. I've gotten a lot of them, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to it sooner. But we'll try to make this more of a consistent thing, and hope you can learn a lot from it. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. We'll see you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.